Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Let's Talk. This is the 19th episode. I'm your host, Elena Lau, real estate broker and CEO of Union Real Estate. Today, I have an exciting speaker who is going to talk about the home staging. He's the founder, owner, and lead designer of Joshua Allen Design. Welcome, Joshua. You want to say something?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Me too. Do you want to say a little bit about yourself? Introduce yourself?
Sure. Yeah, sure, absolutely. As Elena just said, I'm the owner and lead designer for Joshua Allen Design. We're a full service marketing company for real estate. And we work primarily with real estate agents, and we stage properties and we take photos and we do floor plans. And we work in this market to really increase the value of everyone's home and get top dollar for every listing. So that is our goal, and that's what we do.
Awesome. I'm so excited. As everybody knows, spring is just around the corner. If not, it is already here. And we are trying to bring a more listings, so there are more home buyers out there that needs housing. So I think this presentation is timely. So thank you so much for joining us today, Josh, and all the audience. So I want to encourage the audience to leave their questions, comment on the message box on Facebook, and then we will answer them as it comes. So for now, we're going to start the presentation. So today we're talking about the tips and tricks of home staging. So Josh, what general tips do you have for property homeowners right now to get their home ready to list?
So the market right now is crazy. I think everybody that is a part of it understands that. And really, there are some very simple things that you can do to your property to increase the value and the perceived value of the property. And a few of those are pretty simple. Decluttering is huge. So decluttering your space overall is a really, really big opportunity. And also removing personal items and obvious sentimental items. That's another way to allow a potential buyer to engage and connect with their new home, which is essentially what you're trying to do when you're listing your property. And another one is to allow as much light in as possible and make sure that the lights that are in the property, the light bulbs and the light fixtures, that they all work. That is a huge, huge selling point in a property, and you don't want someone to feel like there's an issue with the property. So those are those are three really good ones, but there are so many more that we'll dive into.
I'm sure, but there is a question. Should homeowners put away personal items like in their
Yeah.
kitchen, bathroom, the whole home?
Oh my gosh. Yes, absolutely. So I always recommend personal photos to come off the walls, or if they're on shelves and they're in frames, take those down. Magnets, pictures on the refrigerator, maybe those should come down as well. And items that are in the kitchen, like, even appliances like blenders and toasters and things that you use every day in your routine, those should really be removed as well, for sure. Again, the goal is to allow the potential buyer to connect with the space. And if they see photos of another family in the property that they're looking to buy, it could make them feel like they're in someone else's home rather than their new home. So that's the goal.
Yeah, and I think that also works for protecting their privacy as well. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah,
yeah. So
absolutely.
what tips do you have for more tips in regarding staging the kitchen and the bathrooms?
The kitchens and the bathrooms. So I would always recommend making sure that the tub we'll talk about the bathrooms in particular right now. The tubs in the bathrooms are clean, the toilets are clean, the sinks are clean, and the faucets work properly. That's a really, really good rule of thumb. That way, again, there are no perceived issues with the property. And is in the kitchen, glass, any glass. So this would include like the glass shower doors in the bathroom, or maybe windows. We want to make sure there are no cracks, or they're not dingy with water stains or anything like that. So those are really good pointers there. And also lighting, of course. I'll talk about lighting the whole way through this.
Of course, I think like going into a space that is well lit is very important. It makes the
Yes.
person feel more welcome as well.
Yes.
All right. So what other tips do you have for staging the living areas, bedrooms, and things like that?
So the living areas and the bedrooms, this is aside from maybe the kitchen, these are like the most prominent areas in the house, in the home to showcase. And it's really about function. How is your family going to use the space? So what we always recommend is have one centerfocal in the common living space. So whether that be a bedroom or a living room, for example, have the TV or the fireplace be the focal and have your furniture kind of surround that space to create like a conversation area. This gives the warm feeling of your family being in the space. So that's a really, really good pointer there. Also, anchoring the space with an area rug is a really good opportunity as well. Even if you have beautiful hardwood floors, always recommend that.
So what I'm hearing is that create that wow factor as soon as the potential home buyer are entering into the property.
Yes, yes, always the wow factor in every room.
Of course. So, like, say that there is extra room or space. Like, do you recommend homeowner also staging those room in the current market?
Yes, I'm sorry. Can you repeat that one more time for me, Elena? I think you cut out.
Yeah, no problem. So, like, there are homes that they have extra bedroom or spaces. So,
Yeah.
do you recommend or should the homeowners also stage those specific rooms, especially when we're dealing in this fast current market?
Yeah, so those extra rooms, those should definitely be staged. And right now, the hottest item is an office. So always recommend staging one room, an office in the space, in the property, and that will really allow the potential buyer to understand that you can work from home in that space. So if there's an extra bedroom or an office, make sure that that's staged for sure.
Yeah, that's a good point because nowadays people are mostly working from home. So having that space that you can showcase, that you can have a home office is a plus. I can compare
Yes.
that through our experience recently. I had a listing. We had a 3 bedrooms, and then one of them we converted into a home office, which
Yes.
that sold it.
Awesome.
So
Yeah, and I remember the conversation we had that day, and when I had asked you, like, do you want an office or a bedroom? And you said, leave it up to me. And I was like, oh, we need an office. That's what we need.
yeah, I love that tip, and you nail it. So, how about when it comes to the home exterior? What
So,
recommendations do you have?
yeah, so exteriors are obviously huge. This is the very, very first impression of the property. So we want to make sure that the pathways are all clear and the yard is cleaned up and well maintained. Even whenever there's like snow on the ground, there's still ways that you can make sure that the yard looks great. So cutting back shrubs, cutting back bushes, making sure that walkways are free, make sure they're iced. Now that we're going into the spring market, you want to make sure that the yard is maintained. And even though it's muddy and could be like the grass could be a little dead, you still want to make sure that it's just very nice and clean. And if you need to plant seed, grass seed, do that as soon as you possibly can. That'll make a huge improvement.
Is that part of your home staging services?
What's that?
The exterior.
It is, yeah. We always touch upon the exterior of the property as well. So driveways, walkways, making sure the light fixtures work, making sure that the welcome rug isn't, too, I don't know, dirty or too big or too small for the space. Making sure that the door handle, by the way, is a really big one, is clean and actually works really well. Those are all seem like minor things, but they're really big.
Yeah, very true. So, like, there are home seller or potential home seller that they are thinking of putting their home on the market, but they are skeptical about like how much benefit can they get from home staging. Can you tell us a little bit more about it? Like, the probably most concern is about the cost, right? They want to maximize the the price, right? Like, they want to get top dollar. So how can staging help them get that?
So staging is a tool in your toolbox to be able to list your property and showcase it to the best of its ability for the market, for the perceived buyer. So basically you'll see this later in the slide, but 1% of an investment into any form of staging. And staging isn't always about bringing in furniture and bringing in art. It's about just going through the property with an open mind and basically making sure that everything is in listing condition. So again, light fixtures and things like that. But if you invest 1% on average into your property's value, 1% before you list it, you can expect anywhere from 5 to 15% over asking price, which is really, really huge, especially even in this market. That's with the market taken into account and everything. And that statistic is from 2020 RISA. So that's a really great statistic. And the perception of the listing is the number one goal when listing the property. It is having those potential buyers come in and say, this is my new home. Because ultimately what it's going to do is it's going to drive up the demand for the property. And that's the goal, because that's what drives the number. So,
that's true. And then you were talking earlier, you had a story about a listing that was not staged. Can you tell more about that
yes, yes.
With the audience?
Very timely that this just happened this morning. I just came from a consult, and everyone knows this market's crazy, and the house isn't moving. It's been on the market for 30 days, and they didn't want to call a stager. They were too afraid. They didn't understand the process, and they were 30 days in, and they gave me a call today. Ultimately, the property needs to be staged. It will sell at the dollar price that they're asking if they stage it. And what I mean by that, and to dive in a little bit more, is they had a family room that they had a pool table in, for example. They had an office that they used as their family room, and it was on the other side of the house. The dining room was a playroom. And potential buyers can't envision their family in a space like that. So I explained to the homeowner, I said, if we just make some very small adjustments, if we remove the pool table, if we turn the dining room into an actual dining room, if we remove all of the drapes in the property and really open up the space, it will definitely sell. There's no question about it. It's just walking into that space. It is a beautiful home. It's a beautiful listing. It's just really hard to envision yourself there.
So basically, and by working with you, what I noticed is that basically with your expertise, you go into the property, assess the whole layout, and then just like you keep it simple, but yet it makes the home so attractive and welcoming that it converts a house to a home. So I think that is what that's the plus of having a home staging.
Yes. Well, thank you for the kind words. That's very nice. And that's always our goal, is as much as, we are a home staging company, but we're also an interior design company, and that works in our benefit, because I think at every single stage, we do make the house feel like home, and it's anyone's home, not, this person's home or that person's home. We really try to make it comfortable and cozy, and I mean, it works. So
yeah, all I can say is that I also brought my mom into this listing that I received. It was empty. As soon as Josh and his team came and then did the staging, did their magic, she was like, "Oh, I want to buy the home."
I know, we should share those before and afters with all the viewers, because that was an amazing, fun property to do. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. So I'm curious, right? There are sometimes homes that it's a multifamily, and then the seller owns and live in one of the floor, and then the other two are rental. Do you also recommend staging those rental property, and how do you work with them if you recommend so?
That's a good question. So rental properties are strange. It's difficult because you can't really tell a tenant how to live. So that's a little bit difficult. So what I always recommend is, if the tenant is willing to have us come through, I will gladly come through and give some very basic recommendations, because again, we don't want to upset them. But I always recommend that. If for some reason they do not want to do that, the best advice I can give is to just make sure that there's as little clutter as possible. Kitchen countertops are as clean as possible. Bathroom countertops are as clean as possible. And it doesn't, it just feels nice and open and airy and clean. That is the best advice I can give, and that's the only advice I can really give, because again, they're tenants, so it does make it a little sticky.
No, that's true. Like it's so hard, like to really get them to do anything about the property. But like I always tell like my clients, like as long as they keep it organized and clean, pathway easier to get in, open all the blinds so at least like the natural light comes in. So
Yes. And
yeah.
it's also, I think it's also important to note that potentially the person that's looking at that property is already probably expecting it. So it's not like it's something that would take them, aback too crazily. So I think it'd be okay, but there is definitely a need to have some tenants clean up a little bit and make sure they're neat and orderly.
Right. So here's another question. Say that like a home seller is hesitant about home staging, and then they rather not come like full force staging, but maybe considering just using what they have at their home. Do you work with those type of clientele as well?
Absolutely. Every day, actually. So what I say to sellers that could be a little on the fence about home staging will make a difference in any capacity, even if that is just a consultation. A consultation from a staging professional that can walk through your property with an open mind and truly have your best interest at heart. Just having that document written out of the suggestions made to the property will increase the value of the property. So that's what I mean when I say staging doesn't always involve bringing in furniture. It could just be a consult. Also, staging doesn't have to be expensive either. Staging could be just bringing in art and decor, or using every piece of everything that is in the current home and just rearrange it and eliminate some pieces, and it will transform the space. And we do that all the time, weekly. So yes, it is definitely possible.
Oh, that's good. Good to know. Because I think there is a myth that staging is very expensive, and then that
Yes.
that sometimes may not make sense to really hire a home stager, and then the seller are thinking like, well, I had to pay for the commission, and then on top of that staging, like what am I getting as a return?
Yeah. Yes. No, you're absolutely right. I wish that myth would go away, because I mean, of course, in any business and any service, there's always a very high end and a very low end. But I can tell you that myself, our business, for sure, we are affordable and we are extremely flexible, and that's how a staging company should be, because not every home is the exact same. Every home needs something different. So yeah, it's not something don't shy away from it too much, guys. It's not too scary.
Well, one thing that we're doing today is demystifying the myth, right? So
Yes.
I thank you for all your tips and tricks in home staging. I know that you're a busy person, and then like now that stagings are like homes are coming on the market, I'm sure you are busier.
Yes.
So thank you for your time. Is there anything else that you want to share with our audience? This has been great. And I think that you have a surprise for them today.
I do. Yes. No, I think the one thing I would leave everyone with is, if you're looking to sell, right now is a great time to do so, and just maximize your home's potential. And you can do that through staging, and we can help you definitely do that, and you will see the return. There is absolutely no question about it. So we're going to leaving here. We are offering everybody that's been on the call a 10% off a staging consult. So anybody that's interested, reach out and mention this event, and we will gladly credit you 10% back on the consult, and we'd love to help. So
thank you so much, and then I'm sure the audience are happy to receive this special discount for them. So I think we have come to an end. It's 11:19 right now. So thank you so much, Josh. Thank you so much for the audience. I have seen people popping in and out from different parts of the country. So I thank you also for tuning in today. So until next time.
all right. Thank you, Elena. I appreciate it. Thank you. Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you.